The most expensive luxury item in America is not a private jet, it is a standard W-2 tax form. If your primary source of income is a traditional corporate salary, you are actively participating in a wealth extraction system designed to legally strip away 40% of your labor value before it ever hits your checking account. Society has conditioned you to believe that a six-figure W-2 job with employer-sponsored health insurance and a standard retirement match is the ultimate financial safety net. You have been told that climbing the corporate ladder is the only responsible way to build wealth. In 2026, that is mathematically false. The W-2 structure is a financial death sentence for high-income earners. Let's look at the hard data. The United States tax code is not a series of arbitrary penalties. It is a behavioral rulebook written by asset owners for asset owners. The government heavily penalizes people who trade their time for a fixed paycheck. If you earn $150,000 as a standard W-2 employee, you are slammed by a 24% federal marginal tax rate, aggressive state income taxes, and a mandatory payroll tax. You earn, get heavily taxed on the gross amount, and then desperately try to fund your survival with whatever scraps remain. This creates a massive psychological burden that I call the high-income illusion. You look at your gross salary and feel like you should be rich. You feel immense pressure to buy the $500,000 house, lease the premium SUV, and maintain a premium mediocre aesthetic. You take expensive vacations because you feel you earned the right to look successful. Yet, behind closed doors, your liquidity is practically zero. You drown in the hidden shame of earning $150,000 a year, but living paycheck to paycheck. You are terrified of your boss because a single corporate restructuring event will send your entire life into foreclosure. The true wealthy operate in a completely different reality. They do not get taxed as individual human beings. They get taxed as corporate entities. To escape the W-2 death spiral, you must transition from a dependent employee to an independent economic unit. The wealthy understand that the system is designed to trap the individual and protect the business. If you want to keep the money you actually earn, you have to stop playing the game as an unprotected individual. You must implement the Corporate Firewall Protocol. The Corporate Firewall Protocol fundamentally reverses the mathematical order of your financial life. The standard W-2 employee must earn, get taxed, and then spend. The 1099 independent contractor operating a business entity gets to earn, spend, and then get taxed. This single shift in sequencing is responsible for creating millions of millionaires. When you route your income through your own legal entity, like an S-corporation, you erect a massive shield between your labor and the government. Let's break down the exact percentages because the math is staggering. If you operate as a sole proprietor, you are hit with a brutal 15.3% self-employment tax on every single dollar you earn. But when you implement the Corporate Firewall Protocol and use an S-corporation structure, the game completely changes. The law allows an S-Corp owner to legally split their income into two distinct categories, a W-2 salary and a shareholder distribution. This is where the wealth is actually generated and kept. Imagine you generate that same $150,000 in revenue as an independent consultant. Under an S-Corp, you do not pay that massive 15.3% tax on the entire amount. Instead, you pay yourself a reasonable salary, let's say $60,000. You only pay the payroll taxes on that $60,000 salary. The remaining $90,000 flows directly to you as a shareholder distribution. That $90,000 completely bypasses the self-employment tax. In this micro case study, Changing the legal structure of your income instantly saves you nearly $14,000 a year in taxes. But the Corporate Firewall Protocol goes infinitely deeper than just a salary split. It allows you to execute the pre-tax lifestyle shift. As a W-2 employee, you pay your mortgage, cell phone bill, internet, and vehicle expenses using after-tax dollars. You are paying for your life with the most expensive money on the planet. As a 1099 consultant operating a legitimate business entity, those exact same expenses can be legally converted into pre-tax business deductions. A percentage of your home square footage becomes a deductible home office. Your mobile phone and home internet become deductible communication expenses. The mileage you drive to client meetings becomes a deductible vehicle expense. You legally lower your taxable net income while maintaining your exact same standard of living. You pay for your life with pre-tax dollars, stripping away the system's ability to tax your survival. This is exactly how the wealthy live luxurious lives on paper while showing minimal taxable income. The single most actionable strategy you can execute today is fully exploiting the independent retirement limits. If you are trapped in a W-2 job, your corporate retirement contributions are legally capped. That is an absolute ceiling imposed on the working class to keep them dependent. But when you operate as a 1099 consultant with your own corporate entity, you wear two hats. You are both the employee and the employer. Under current guidelines, you max out the employer contribution. Then, your corporation makes a profit-sharing contribution up to 25% of your compensation. This pushes your absolute total limit to over $70,000 a year. You legally shelter massive capital. You must completely stop viewing your skills as property owned by a single corporation. You must start viewing yourself as a premium business entity whose current largest client simply happens to be your former employer. You negotiate contracts, not salaries. You demand equity, not annual bonuses. This is not about starting a generic online business. This is about taking the high-value skills you already possess and wrapping them in an impenetrable legal structure. You might be listening to this and thinking the logical next step is to immediately walk into your manager's office, quit your job, and instantly declare yourself an independent consultant. You are probably thinking that forming an entity tomorrow will magically solve your financial anxiety and wipe out your tax burden. That is exactly the trap the system anticipates, and it is a catastrophic mistake. There is a lethal, hidden mechanism within the corporate matrix designed to financially execute employees who try to escape without the proper leverage. If you attempt to transition blindly, you will trigger an entirely different financial disaster that will vaporize all the money you just saved. You will walk right into a secondary trap engineered to keep you permanently paralyzed. The exact mathematical breakdown of this trap is fully revealed in my other video, Your 9-to-5 Job is a Financial Death Trap. Here's why. Click the video on your screen right now, and I will show you how to survive the transition.